everyone, welcome back to our final week of Media Literacy Shorts. My name is Andrea and I'm a Digital Services Librarian at Richmond Public Library. So we've looked at when should you be looking for more information about what you're seeing online and how to find more information. Once you have those two pieces, how do you evaluate your sources? This week we're going to look at putting your sources into context by evaluating who or what the information is coming from. The first tool we're going to look at is the Advantest Media Bias Chart. This uses the bias and reliability of the news sources you might be using to give you an idea of how trusted the information found on these outlets should be. Now, a quick word about bias. This sounds like a bad word, but literally everyone has a bias, and that's fine. If you think about the people in your life, is anyone completely neutral about a topic they really care about and know a lot of information about? What is important is to acknowledge these biases. Tools like Advantest show you the bias of the source and how reliable they are. As we can see from this chart, your source can have a bias and still be mostly reliable in what it discusses. You can also find every news and podcast source here. So these aren't linked, but it shows all of the these are the news services that you can look up on here. So what you can do is you could Google the Baltimore Sun and Advantest, and you'd be able to see on their chart how reliable and biased it is. So here's an example of Ars Technica, which is a blog I use for research sometimes at work. We can see the bias and reliability score here. So this is Advantest rates Ars Technica in the middle category of bias, so it's not particularly left or right, and it is most reliable in terms of reliability. So we can see the actual scores here, and if you'd like more information, you can actually go up to the top here and take a look at all the ratings and methodologies. And if you go further down, you can see a sampling of some of the articles that they used, and you can see the different scores and reliability for each of them. Additionally, look at how different outlets and sources present the story. Is there a lot of discrepancies between them or facts left out in one story or another? Checking who owns or runs a particular outlet is also helpful. For instance, Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, so you'll probably not see any stories that are critical of Amazon on the platform. This doesn't mean that the other stories they feature are false or that the outlets that do cover that criticism are biased, just that having this information helps you evaluate the stories that are featured. So I'm on News Media Canada right now, and so I can see a list of companies that own daily newspaper holdings across Canada, and you can see even though there are 90 daily newspapers across Canada, there are way fewer owners of those newspapers. So if you look at Saltwater Wire, which is a newspaper chain based in Nova Scotia, you can see that they have 8 daily newspapers. And just an example of how big a newspaper chain can be, we can go up to Post Media, which if you get the National Post or Vancouver Sun or the province here in BC, you can see that they actually own 36 different newspapers across the country. So you may see a lot of crossover in what is reported there and how it is reported as well. And now, since I know Post Media owns, let's say, the Vancouver Sun, I now have a better idea of the ownership of that newspaper, and I can take a better look into their policies and that sort of thing. Now, this may seem obvious, but always check if the source is satire. News sites like The Onion or Canada's The Beaverton can sometimes seem real if someone is posting them without reading the article first or knowing anything about the source and seeing where it is from. So we've looked at when to do a little more research, some resources you can use, and how to evaluate these stories. Now, taking all these tools together, should you share the story? If you have some doubts about its validity, probably not. But everyone will get it wrong at some point. There are so many stories online, so doing a little bit of extra research is always a good idea. I also want to be clear that just because caution is good, you don't have to distrust everything you read. Not believing anything is the same thing as believing everything you read. Doing a little extra research about a story you feel strongly about just gives you a firmer basis of information. Thank you for joining me for Media Literacy Shorts. You can also check out RPL's other digital literacy programs on our website, linked below. Hope to see you all soon. Bye.